Hey, Spooksters, and welcome back to another episode here on Three Spooked Girls. My name is Tara, and as always, I'm here with my girlfriend, Jessica.
Hello.
Hello. And today, by the title, you can see we're going to talk about where's Kate Middleton
I'm so
because
excited.
we literally moved stuff because we wanted to talk about this so bad.
It was,
This was supposed to be a
hey,
different episode completely.
right, I was like, "Hey, Tara, have you heard about the Kate Middleton stuff?" And she's like, "No, what's going on?" And then I told her, and she was like, "Can we move this?" I was like, "Yes."
Literally have lost sleep over researching and watching TikToks and watching videos and reading all the things. Because you guys, if you've been here, you know we very much enjoy talking about the royal
The royal,
family. We
yeah.
did a multi-parter on Princess Diana. I find that whole thing interesting. Probably because we don't have anything like that. You know what I mean? We
True.
don't have, I mean, we have like American royalty, but it's very different.
True, very, very true. Yesterday, I had a big meeting at work, and the amount of time people were like, "Oh my God, have you heard about the Kate Middleton stuff?" And I'm like, "We're supposed to be talking about legislation, but yes, I have tea.
That's
Let's
more
talk about
interesting.
it." I'm like,
That's more interesting.
right?
All right. Well, before we get into that, if you are new here, hello, welcome. Thank you for checking out the show. Returning Spooksters, welcome back. And if you are not, you can hang out with us on social media. There is a link tree in the show notes and the video description because this is another YouTube video for you guys. Linked to all of our stuff. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're also on Threads. I'm not calling it X because I just never remember to. Under the handle at Three Spooked Girls, we also have our Facebook group that is super, super fun. And it's gotten more active lately in the last like
Mhm.
month or two. It's always been pretty active, but it's like more lately. And I love
Yeah.
it. Definitely come hang out with us over there. That's Three Spooked Girls official. And if you would like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Three Spooked Girls. For as little as $1, you get one bonus episode a month. 5 and up get ad-free episodes. And I'm working on Apple subscriptions. I know we have a lot of listeners that are on Apple Podcasts. So just give me time. I'm trying to figure it out. I think I filled everything out. It's kind of, they made it kind of complicated, which doesn't surprise me because it's like, that's like always what happens, I swear. They're like, you want to monetize? Let me make this the biggest pain in your ass.
Right.
But it's fine. And if you're on TikTok, you can find me as a spooky_sleuth. Check it on out. And if you like articles, we both have Substacks, so go follow. Those are, if you're not familiar, it's basically like, I don't know about you, but I'm basically treating mine like a blog and
Mhm.
just posting whatever I want under like my categories of interest. So I do a lot of like true crime and books. That's kind of where I'm at.
Can we talk about my Twitter blunder that happened this morning? That
Oh
apparently,
yeah.
so I my cats sleep with me, and apparently last night in the middle of a struggle of them like being in my face, I accidentally got on Twitter on my phone, found a photo, don't know who this person is. And you know how like when you hold something down, you're like sharing it, how it like
Yeah.
will pop up that screen on iPhone if you have an iPhone, and it'll be like share with these people. I shared with 6 people this person's picture. I woke up to so many text messages like, who the fuck is this person? And I was like, I know. Tara was the first one I looked at, and I was like, I have no idea what this is. I'm really sorry. And then I was like, oh my God, 6 people I shared this photo
It's
with.
great. It was weird
It
because it was
was.
like the picture kind of looked like a mix of a
I'm
passport photo, a mugshot, and a
shot.
driver's
Yeah.
license photo, like all together. And I was like, it. And this was someone I have not heard about or seen around, and
Right. Me
not
either.
the kind of individual you would have social interactions with. So I was
Exactly.
like, who the fuck is this?
I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. Like my friend from work, Jessica, was like, is this a guy you met? Like, what's going on? I was like, I have no idea. And then like when I was like, where the fuck is, then I immediately go to my camera roll because I think I've like saved a photo or taken a screenshot and then shared the screenshot because I accidentally take
Yeah.
screenshots of shit all of the time.
Yeah.
And then and then I'm like, where the fuck is it? So then I look back with my open apps and I
Mm.
see that there's Twitter open and I open it and then I go to tell Tara what it is. And then when I go back to Twitter, it's gone. And I'm like, I don't even know what the post was. This
Lord,
thing
it's
could be,
okay.
I was like, did someone break in my house and send pictures of themselves to people?
That'd be like the weirdest fucking
Right.
like
I was like,
crime
I'm gonna
ever.
write.
I'm gonna just warn YouTube people, if I move too much this way, you see my other chair because I have 2 desks in my
Mhm.
office. I have my podcast one and then my work one. So it's not, you know, a ghost or anybody bad. It's just my other fucking chair.
And
'cause
I
it's too
have
tall
some
for the
weird
desk.
thing, and I don't know if it's my computer or if you see me move, it's because it looks like there's, I don't know if you can see it, but is there a dot right here? Like a black dot?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
It's fine.
So I'm like trying to blend it with my shirt. I'm like, you can't
I'm
see
just
it
gonna
because
sit like I'm gonna sit like
that
this the whole
way.
video.
Okay.
Someone's gonna comment me like, "Is she okay?"
I don't know what it is. I'll figure it out after, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we need
All
to talk
right.
about Kate Middleton.
We're gonna get into that. We're just gonna get into this now that we've wasted however long. So, shout out to Vogue. They had a great timeline of everything. So, I'm gonna go ahead and go through it and then we're gonna discuss. So, the last time she was seen was Christmas
Right.
of 2023. That was her last royal engagement. She went to the royal family's annual church service and everything seemed fine. Everything seemed great. She was wearing a cobalt blue Alexander McQueen coat dress, and this was the last time we would see her for months. So, a couple weeks later, on the 17th, Kensington Palace announced that she was having abdominal surgery on January 16th, and due to medical advice, she would not return to public duties until after Easter, which in our time has obviously not happened yet. That's like the end of this month. They did put out a statement for privacy saying the Princess of Wales appreciates the interest the statement will generate. She hopes that the public will understand that her desire to maintain as much normalcy for her children as possible. I also did hear that she might have had like a colonoscopy bag or something, and that's also why like
A
she
colostomy bag.
oh yeah, whatever, sorry. But that's why she doesn't want to be in public cuz it's like
Well, that makes sense.
a whole thing. I would get
Yeah.
that. But also on the 17th, the Buckingham Palace announced that King Charles is seeking treatment for an enlarged prostate. We do know that turned into cancer, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I did see actually something interesting, and it is something to keep in mind is that this whole Kate conspiracy thing, or some people are calling it Kate Gate,
Mhm.
is a distraction because King Charles's diagnosis is much more severe than they're saying.
And
And that
he
would make
told.
a lot of sense. That would actually make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
We're gonna probably joke a lot and stuff in this episode, but, like, actually looking at things and knowing how they operate, that would be, like, the most plausible thing for me
Right. And
at
from
this
what
point.
I have understood is he is kind of not looking at like chemo and like kind of the traditional routes of cancer treatment. He's looking
Yeah.
at more like I'm going to heal cancer with turmeric. So I think that depending on what kind of cancer he has, that he might be deteriorating faster than anyone anticipates because of the fact that like I mean, we know that the royal family genetically is a little less stable, if that
Mhm.
makes sense, because of the generations prior to that of inbreeding. So that always leads to complications. So, I mean, literally his parents were cousins.
Yeah. And on January 29th of this year, they did make the announcement that Kate returned home to Windsor from the London clinic. And unlike Prince Charles, whose departure was photographed, there was no images of her leaving the hospital, underlining for her desire of privacy, which I'm like, okay, that makes sense because especially if you've read or listened to Harry's book, I feel like that gave a lot of great insight on how invasive the paparazzi is to them. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
oh, for sure. Even if you hadn't, just look at Diana.
Oh yeah, obviously, because they fucking killed her.
Right.
Then going into February, they announced King Charles's cancer diagnosis. Buckingham Palace shared that he was seeking some treatment for his cancer. Quote, he remains wholly positive about the treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. They also revealed the motivations behind their public relations decision, and that was His Majesty had chosen to share his diagnosis to prevent speculation and in the hope that it may assist public understanding for all of those around the world who are affected by cancer. And a few days later, he released another statement thanking the public for their support during this time. And Charles has continued to make occasional appearances at that time. He met with ambassadors from Algeria and a couple other places at Buckingham Palace. He's still been doing stuff this month. And then on the 27th, Prince William pulls out of a memorial service for his godfather, and he announced that he could not attend that. And this was for King Constantine of Greece due to personal reasons. And it says, while an anonymous royal sources told news outlets that there's no connection between the cancellation and the princess's health, speculation was sparked, as it would be. And soon after, it turned into a full-fledged social media moment as rumors began to circulate about where the princess was. It's funny because there's been like all kinds of memes, and some of them have been funny and other ones have just been like disgusting, of course.
Mhm.
So the one they mentioned on their timeline was the fucking Glasgow Willy Wonka thing, which I'm like, oh my God, that shit was wild. If you guys want to know more about that, the Sesh podcast, Kendall Ray's other podcast with her cousin,
Mhm.
they talked about it and it was just
That shit was
the
wild. I
tea.
remember when I saw it, I immediately sent it to Tara. I was like, what in the fucking dystopian nightmare is this shit?
Right? Oh my gosh. And then because rumors were getting so bad on February 29th, they pretty much like started pushing their statement they had already put out to like use that as like
Mhm.
backup. And they said to people, we were very clear from the outset of the Princess of Wales was out until after Easter and Kensington Palace would only provide updates when something was significant. They told the outlet that the princess was doing well, which is like, yeah, because like, what do they? I don't know if people thought they were going to do like daily updates, weekly updates, but it's like if she's recovering fine, like let her fucking recover.
I mean, that's the thing is like, I get that she's a public figure. I
Yeah.
understand that. But she's also a person. I mean, we'll talk about like conspiracy theories of like what the surgery was. And
Mhm.
depending on what you think, like what train of thought you like hit your wagon to, a lot of that could have a ton of emotional baggage with it.
Yeah, for sure. And then bringing us to this month. So on March 4th, the paparazzi captured the Princess of Wales driving around Windsor. It's from TMZ. They published a really grainy paparazzi group of
Yeah.
photos of the princess and her mother driving in an Audi around Windsor Castle. The British press actually refrained from sharing the images because they were trying to respect her privacy, which I'm like
Word.
shocked that they would make that decision, but it's like good.
I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked because at the same time, like, you know that like the crown really kind of controls shit, which is,
True.
you know,
And whoever shared it would probably get fucking fired, let's be
mhm.
real. So,
And especially
oh,
like if they're trying to hold that line of like, oh no, she's just resting.
oh my gosh, my favorite part of this whole thing. So on March 10th,
Which is last
Princess
Sunday.
and Prince of Wales shared a photo for Mother's Day. Now, before I like explain it for those that may not know, I was so confused because I saw their tweet first. I didn't see the
Mhm.
picture first. I didn't even know anything about the picture and I saw that and I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? So that tweet is actually what got me like starting to rabbit hole on this whole thing because
Mhm.
I was just like listening to you telling me what updates, but I wasn't like really looking into it yet. And then I saw that. So I'm going to put the picture up here for you guys that are watching on YouTube. So to mark Mother's Day in the UK, Prince William and Princess Kate posted a photo of her along with her 3 children on their social media accounts. Now, the palace said it was taken by William last week in Windsor, or the week before in Windsor. At first, it seems like a clear refute to all the conspiracy theories. However, on Sunday night,
I have to be like a clear no. People
oh
on the internet
no,
are crazy.
right? Literally. The Associated Press issued a kill order, an industry term for retracting the image, and their statement said at closer inspection, it appears that the source has manipulated the image. No replacement photo will be sent, which keep in mind, the source is literally supposed to be Kate and William.
Right.
You two people, you guys can see this here, and like you can tell that it's like all kinds of things. So, Princess Charlotte's left hand didn't match up with the sleeve of her sweater. Kate's zipper was misaligned. Her hands looked weird. Her knee looked weird. They were all like awkwardly blurry. And then people were saying that she or whoever also photoshopped her face from a previous picture.
Oh yeah, no, it's like I saw that like I think I saw TikTok and they did the whole like here's the Mother's Day photo and
Yeah.
then here's the I think it was like a Vogue cover or something. And then they did
Mhm.
like the Vogue cover and it like slowly like disappeared into like the Mother's Day photo. I was like, "Oh my God." But then I was like, "You mean the same person can't make the same face?"
That's true. I know that's like a big thing to think about, especially when you're so media trained. Like it's muscle
Mhm.
memory to like you know what your when your face looks good in a photo, like what to do.
I
If
bet
that
if
makes
you took a
you know?
bunch of like, you know how like every year they do like the guard stuff and like they're there. I bet if you took her face and every single year and
Probably looks
lined
the
them up
same.
is the same because she's like
Mhm.
100% committed to I'm Princess of Wales and I do my job right.
And she's been doing this for like so long. I don't remember when they got together, but it was like forever ago, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And then the tweet I was referring to came out on March 11th. So this is like super, super fresh. So it said that she tried to explain the mishap on the family's official accounts, saying, quote, Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. I hope everyone celebrating has a very happy Mother's Day. But okay, I just want to play devil's advocate.
Mm-hmm.
As much as these conspiracy theories are so fun and I'm so ready
Mm-hmm.
to talk about them. But it's like, compare it to like the Kardashians and like other celebrities who Facetune and all this other shit. And like, who's to say? Maybe she did swap out her face. Maybe she's still like kind of recovering and she didn't like how she looked. Like,
Right.
there is a lot of possibilities. And I'm gonna be real. My gut is saying I do not foresee them pulling a Princess Diana with Kate. I just don't. I don't know.
I mean, this conspiracy theories are all over the board with
They
this
are all over the
one.
place because one of the biggest things, and this is kind of like, well, shitty as this sounds, it sounds like this is just a norm in the
Mhm.
royal culture is the whole affair thing.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like, I don't know, because some people are speculating like William doesn't want to be with Kate anymore and he wants to be with this other person. I know they changed the stuff about divorce.
Well, I
I
mean,
think he's
Camilla
just,
is queen consort, so yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where we're at with that. There's the
Before
context for you
we
guys. So go
yeah,
ahead.
before we move on to the affair, the whole editing thing, like you were talking about, like the Kardashians, like how many times have we found that like Kylie Jenner has like slimmed her waist and made her hips look bigger and her butt look bigger and her lips poutier and her cheeks thinner, and we accept that. I mean, we call it out. We're like, oh my god, could you imagine if
And
you're on
Chloe's
right?
like
I
really known for that,
well,
which
oh
is
yeah,
fine.
yeah, totally fine. That's what I mean. Editing is a part of social media.
Mhm.
I use filters. I don't
Everyone
have
does.
poreless skin. Jesus Christ, I don't have poreless skin. We're
Mhm.
humans. And could
Right.
you imagine if you're the fucking Princess of Wales? You're the wife of the soon to be king because her father in law is sick and could pass away. They've already started the succession paperwork for like if King Charles dies, when William will take over, what that will look like. And they're being precautious. So,
Mhm.
in the face of all of this, people are wondering what I am and what I'm doing. I'm going to take a photo with my kids and post it for Mother's Day. And let's say
Mhm.
that she looks tired. Let's say that the kids are all I'm like, I was like, has anyone ever tried to take pictures with like 3 children? It's not easy. It's difficult. I mean, they're
Mhm.
photo trained, but Princess Charlotte, we all know she got some like snarky, like little sass to hers. It
Yeah.
could have just been like, hey, let's snap a cute photo. Maybe Kate didn't have any makeup on and it was supposed to be like a family thing. And they're like, oh, let's share it.
Mhm.
Let's just kind of doctor this up. And if you're not a Kardashian level editor, you're not going to do it right. And shit's going to look weird.
And on that wavelength, I can see why because some people will be like, well, she's literally royalty. Like, why doesn't she have someone like editing her stuff? And it's like, well, maybe she didn't want anybody to see.
Mhm.
Maybe if she didn't look her best or was still looking like she's recovering, which is fine. But it's like, we all know the royals have like this ridiculously high like expectations on
Right.
how their image should be. So you have to think too, there's always the risk of stuff being leaked, no matter how
Right.
much you think you trust the person.
Right. And it could be that like Kate and William sat down and like they did it together and they doctored it and they thought, hey, it looks great because they're not trained to see the inconsistencies in it. And then all of a sudden it gets out there and the fucking crazies on the internet, like myself, are like, oh my God, Charlotte's hand doesn't match. And it clearly looks like the sleeve has been cut down. It's like, who the fuck cares? If she had been out and about, this wouldn't have been such a big deal. Like if she'd been seen. But now I mean, the big one is that's not Kate in the photo.
Yeah, the big one is that Kate's dead.
Oh, I know.
I think she's just recovering still. You want to talk about like the theories on like
Yes.
what the procedure and stuff was? Yes, because that's kind of where I'm going because I feel like these are like the least conspiracy-ish on some stuff. So yeah.
I mean, some of the ones that I've heard is that she just had like a regular like abdominal like, like an appendix out or something like that. And I'm like, okay, that could, depending on who you are, that could take a while to recover. Also, why not use this time to be like, oh, I could take a vacation? There is the conspiracy theory that she's had a full hysterectomy. So if you know anything about the British family, affairs are pretty fucking common. I mean,
Yeah.
go back and listen to our Princess Di one. Princess Di was having an affair. Charles was having an affair. The whole lot was just
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's just
Mhm.
like unfortunately seems like a normal thing
Well, I think
for
in
them.
arranged marriages, like Princess Diana and Charles, and let's face it, Kate and William is an arranged marriage. Like they may not have been complicit in it. They may not have been like, oh, whatever, but like Kate was picked. And so with that, there might not be a deep connection. This isn't Genovia. They didn't fall in love with each other and became quite fond of one another. No, I mean, actually that kind of works. It's like, so Kate could have a boyfriend, and we know that William has had multiple partners since they've been together. Very famously, Rose Hanman, or whatever her last name is, or as we like to call her, Rose Peggy, and we'll talk about that why later. I mean, there's a theory that Kate got pregnant and that this was the Crown's like overarching reach, was to have her have an abortion and then have a full hysterectomy, because they have their 3 kids. And if she has a full hysterectomy, she can't like
Oh my
have any
God.
more kids. So she could have an external affair outside of marriage and never worry about ending up with some other man's kid.
Damn, I didn't think about it like that. Like I said, the theories I left to you, I just thought it was more like, oh, she got a hysterectomy, and like obviously that takes much longer to recover.
Mhm.
And I also heard too, normally she does take time off around the holidays, after the holiday type of
Mhm.
thing. That could be why the procedure was planned at this
Right. And there is the
time.
conspiracy theory that on Christmas that Kate went to the hospital because there was a royal escort and an ambulance and things like that. There's the one that she had some sort of like issue with like bowels, and like you're right, she has a colostomy bag, and that could take some time to heal. So maybe she's got one for a few months while she heals. Like, I wouldn't want that in public. Why have to try to hide that? Because like, okay, let's say the bag shows in a photo, right? Then people are gonna like come up with their theories, and that would be harder on me than just staying out of the limelight.
Oh yeah, for sure. My favorite my favorite one that's obviously not true is that she's with fucking Pete.
I love that meme.
Yeah, there's been more, and they just keep getting like they just keep being like worse Photoshop just to
Oh
make
yeah,
it funny, and I just
right.
love it. I love it so much because people are like, "We haven't seen Pete since this day. He's with Kate."
Good for Pete. Good for Kate. You know, if what people rumor about him is true, good for Kate.
Let me
Um,
just go with that. That's my vote. That's my vote.
and then there's the more darker theories.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to talk about Rose Peggy for a minute. Can we please talk about Rose Peggy
Yeah.
before we go into Kate? Okay, so if you
Mhm.
don't know who, I believe her name is Rose Handman, or Ham. I can't remember, Hand something.
Rose. Mhm.
Yeah, she is fondly, and I don't think fondly is the correct term. Like, when I say fondly, it's very sarcastic, known
Yeah.
around the British society as Rose Peggy, because Prince William apparently has a pegging fetish, which good for him. If you like it, do it. Live your best life, sir. And the
Okay.
theory is that Kate is
Mhm.
too conservative to engage in that kind of sex play. And so she has allowed him to have mistresses to peg him. He's had several over the years, but he keeps coming back to Rose because Rose has been like around for a while.
Yeah.
And she's like the Camilla. In fact, if you look at young pictures of Camilla, Rose kind of looks like Camilla. I was like,
Oh God.
ooh. I was like,
Weird.
they got the type. Like, I don't like it, but okay. Like, ugh. So Rose is married to a gay man, like publicly known as he's a gay man, and they have
Mm,
children. And I mean, it
yeah.
makes sense. Like, if he's a gay man and he just wants to live in high society, why not be the husband to the mistress of the king?
They have like their own agreement and whatnot.
Mhm.
So like
Right.
honestly, no
Obviously.
judgment.
And
Yeah,
it's
no
said that,
judgment.
and it has been known that Kate and Rose were friendly and everything like that.
Mm.
But people have speculated that Rose and her husband's children are actually the children of her and William,
Ooh.
which would mean that if William ever claimed them, they would secede, or their line of succession would be ahead of Kate and
Ooh.
William's kids.
Because they're older, yeah. That's a
So
problem.
there's a theory that
Mhm.
Rose is currently pregnant, and that the reason Kate actually didn't have any kind of surgery at all, but on Christmas found out that Rose was pregnant, and that she
Mm.
was claiming that it was William's baby, and that she's keeping it and publicly going to acknowledge that it's William's baby.
That's how you end up assassinated, because that's gonna be a problem for the royals if that's true.
Right. So
Ugh.
then this is happening on Christmas. She finds this
Mhm.
out. Kate has a fucking mental breakdown.
Understandably so.
Right. Like this, because if you take the first part or part of that conspiracy that like Rose's other kids are Williams's children, this would throw that into light. are they his children, which could mean that William could come out and say, no, they're not my kids, or he can even acknowledge that they're his bastards and be like, but I'm not claiming them, which would then tarnish Kate, because then it would be like, this other woman has had children with my husband, like, fucking wear a condom, William. They're very cheap. You have lots of money. There is the theory that Rose and William were actually in love, but she was not picked for him to be. She was not picked to be queen.
So
And that,
literally, she's Camilla. She's Camilla.
yes, but William is more traditional in the fact that he saw what that shit. Which is like, this is why, in my opinion, Prince William is the bigger villain in all of this, because he saw what it did to his mom, and yet he's continuing the cycle. Now, granted, we know that Princess Diana and Charles did not have an agreement and an understanding. She was very upset about it. If Kate and William have an understanding, like Kate can have extramarital affairs, so can William, then that's fine. Meghan Markle has talked about the fact that, like, when she found out that William was having an affair, that she went to Kate, and Kate was like, we just have an understanding. So there's kind of been substantiated that this is a thing. And who cares? Who the fuck cares? If you have an open, consenting relationship, fuck off other people. That's their life. Granted, they are one of the biggest public figures in the world, so it kind of makes it hard to like pull off. There's also the theory, going back to Kate and the hysterectomy thing. Kate supposedly had a boyfriend and he is now dead. And that there's a theory, the reason why we can't see Kate now, going to what you said earlier, is that Kate and her husband, or not Kate and her husband, Kate and her boyfriend were killed because Kate was pregnant, which is like the whole like Diana thing. And they're just like not sharing this with the world.
Yeah, but I feel like them going this route and trying to cover it up for so long would be so much more detrimental than making up some story if they had something to do with it.
One of the things I thought was going to happen, kind of, is that if you were looking at it in a perfect world from a PR standpoint, you put out a press release that Kate Middleton has had a surgery and that she's recovering at home and she won't be out until Easter. You go along a little bit further and then suddenly Kate has had a complication and has passed away.
That would make sense, actually.
So you hide what happened to her. There's also theories that Kate has been, like, the reason Kate hasn't been out is she's actually institutionalized right now, that she did have a nervous breakdown and that she is in an institution, and that there are people who are in the healthcare. And mind you, if this was if this happened in America, we'd have HIPAA laws to protect this. But there are people who are in the healthcare industry who are like, no, she's in this facility. Like, I've seen her, blah, blah, blah. I think those people are just trying to cash in on like a quick like payout from a tabloid. That's one of the theories out there, is that she's just taking a grippy sock vacation. Obviously, she can't come out, which would make sense why the photo would have to be edited, because if the person in that seat isn't her and they were just trying to make it look like her, that would make sense. Obviously, you should probably have hired a better editor for your photos. I mean, we have to wait till the end of March to know. But I mean, kind of at this point, like, I don't know, but if I was the palace, I would be pushing for her to go out sooner. Make some sort of public appearance to be like, look, we didn't fucking murder you. Which is the only reason I'm kind of like, did they murder her? Because like, at this point, you would think she would be like, I'm going to step outside. I mean, granted, we have those grainy photos, but like, people have said that could be anyone. It just
they've said that could be anybody. That could be like old pictures also photoshopped.
It could have been like her sister with like who dyed her hair. And I mean, that's kind of the thing with it. I mean, Kate kind of came for Rose in the last kind of year. Basically, she was wearing something that was really kind of like didn't cover her all the way. And Kate basically publicly commented that it was like scandalous and inappropriate, which, you know, and basically in high society was like, you a fucking slut. But it would make sense, like, because the one rule that a lot of these kind of couples have is you can have affairs, but you can have no emotion to them. And it kind of seems like William can't shake Rose.
He caught feels,
And I mean, I get it. Maybe she's the only one who will pick him. And he's like, I got to keep her because this is the only one that does it right. I don't know. But like, at the same time, like, the world is awaiting. We watched literally the palace and the paparazzi killed Diana, right? What's the ramification going to be?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yes, these conspiracy theories are so wild, but at the same time, there's a possibility that some of these could have some truth to them. We don't know.
I mean, look, when Harry ran with Meghan, he was like, I left because they were going to kill my wife. Like that's
Yeah.
where this was headed. And if Kate was upset about the whole affair thing and started making waves, the palace, I mean, for fucking centuries, the English court has just disappeared women. There's a whole musical called Six because of one king and his like, man, I just can kill women and move on, or divorce them and cast them aside and move on. It's kind of their thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to go ahead and wrap us up for today. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you're following this saga, as I'm calling it, you guys let us know what your thoughts are on this whole thing, where you think Kate is, or if you think there's truth to any of these conspiracy theories. We would love to know. And with that, we'll go ahead and sign off, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Toodles.